Okay, so today we are going to discuss about two topics. Those are like one is multi-threading and next is networking in Python. How to handle networking? So using sockets will do. So this will called as socket programming in Python. Okay. So after that we have few anonymous functions. So we'll call it as a lambda functions. So today we'll discuss about these three things. Okay. So first, what multi-threading? So what is multi-threading and why it is required in Python? Okay. So multi-threading is nothing but so for multiple tasks if you want to do same time, so we'll use multi-threading. So multi-threading, what it will do, it will just create threads. So let's say we are doing one particular process. In the particular process, if you want to run 10 tasks one by one, so if we run 10 tasks one by one, so it will take more time to complete all tasks. So instead of that, what we'll do is, in the same process we'll spawn three threads, like we'll create three threads. So each thread will do one particular function. So 10 functions, so we'll create a 10 threads. So 10 threads will take 10 functions independently, and yeah, those will done parallelly. So like 10 functions will finish within the same time. So you can optimize the time, and you can increase the uh, speed of the program. So for that we'll use multi-threading. Okay. So for example, so how you will do normally, we can take one real example. So so human, what he will do at that the same time he can do multiple tasks. So while watching TV he can have food, or he can prepare something. So at same time while watching TV he is doing some two three jobs. Okay. So one is watching TV, and other one is some preparing food, or something else. Okay. So they can do multiple tasks parallelly. So those things how we can do through Python. So using threading concept, so we'll do it. So I'll explain you now. Okay. So first we have two functions. One is, let's say, find even numbers. Okay. So number will give. So we want to find out or list out the even numbers from 0 to this number. Okay. So for I in range of 0 comma number. Okay, so this is the function. Okay. So if I percentage 2 equal to 0, print even number. So this is one function. So we'll create one more function like find underscore. So I'm just creating two functions here. That means two tasks we are doing. So one is find even numbers, and another is find odd numbers. same thing, and 0 directly you can give. So range, if you give to start from 0 only, so no need to specify that. If I percentile 2 equal to not equal to 0, print we can add one more function, find 5. If I equal to 0, print okay. So now we want to find out from 0 to that specific number, we want to list out even numbers and odd numbers and divisible by 5 numbers. So how many numbers are there in the particular range? Okay, so just find even of some number I'm giving 20. Okay, next find odd of 20. So next find same 20. Okay, so first it will find even numbers, and next it will find odd numbers, and next it will find divisible 5 numbers. See, so first it is executing even numbers, and next it is executing odd numbers, next it is using divisible 5 numbers. Okay, so this we are running 3 tasks, so one by one. So this will take some time. So first it will wait until it finishes first function. Next it will go to second function. It will go to third function. Okay. So we want to see the time. For time consuming, we discussed about time function, right? So list time, and see. So it took 0.00110 seconds. So this will be like microseconds. It took very less time. So okay. So for 100 it took 0029. So as it's coming faster, I'm just sleeping some 0.5 seconds. Why we are using this sleep is to identify the execution time, to increase the time of execution of the script, since we are getting microseconds here. So so first it's starting to execute even numbers. So it will count up to 20. So next it went to finding odd numbers. Next divisible by 5. So you can say this is one task, and this is one task, and this is one task. So these three tasks, so we are executing one by one. So totally it took 30 seconds. Okay, so totally took 30 seconds. Now, so what I will do is I will just run these three parallelly, so it won't wait like one by one. So I'll just create three threads in the same particular process. So for one thread I will tell it has to execute this function. For other thread I'll tell this function has to execute other thread has to execute that last function. Okay, so at the same time, so those three will execute and it has to complete. Okay, so for multi-threading in Python we have a module threading. So from it will be like you can import threading. So inside threading we have a class threading dot thread capital T. So for that I'm using import from threading import thread. So this is the threading class. Okay, so from threading import thread I'm importing this class. So using this class I'll start here. So till the function declaration and everything same, so I need to run these three functions same time. Thread1 t1 equal to thread of target, we have to specify target equal to the function whatever you want to run. So find underscore even is the function and comma args. So this is the syntax for thread class, thread target and the target function name and args. So args you have to define as a tuple. Okay, so inside the tuple you have to define what are the arguments you're going to pass this function, this particular target. So we are passing num, so num is so number, right? Num, and we have to specify the comma since it is a tuple. Thread is the class. So if you want to see direction or help of this, you can give thread direction of thread. So this will show what are the functions is available. And so for class initialization, so what are the arguments you want to pass? You want to see the init, you can use like this. So these are optional, and target and args are these two are required. So this is for position based dogs. So keyword dogs, this is for keyword based dogs. Okay, you can specify those. So target and dogs we gave. Okay, similarly for so find even we did. Similarly for find out, we have to create one more thread t2 equal to thread of target equal to find out and args equal to, okay, similarly t3. Okay, so we just created three threads. So next we have functions. Here you can see we have to start. So we just initiated thread, so we have to start the thread. So for that we have one method start. Okay, this will start the threads activity. T1 dot start. That means this thread will start. This will execute the particular process in sub thread. Okay, sub process. It's not a sub process. So the main process that will be like one more. It's called one thread or one particular sub child things. It will execute. Okay, next for similarly T1, T2 also we have to start. T2 start. So T3 start. Okay, so now what will happen, so three threads, so this is the main function, so this main process, this process will create three threads. Okay, three threads it will create, so each thread it will take the individual functionality, so it will execute this corresponding task. So now, so t1 is started to execute and t2 started, t3 started. Now we have to join all three. So once t1 completed, t2 completed, t3 completed, then these three has to return to the main process. Okay, so if t1 completes, t1 if it completes, t1 join. So what this will do, this thread will join back to the main process once it completes. Next, t2 dot join similarly. Okay, next t3 dot join. Okay, so if all three joins, then it will go to the this statement. So next, this it will come to the control, it will come to the main process, and that will be like end time it will count, and the execution time it will print end time and start time. Okay, so this is how we can write. So we'll execute now. See, you can see now finding even numbers. So first T1 executed, finding even numbers. When you say these three sets, right? First we are getting this one, finding even numbers. Okay. So next, see, previously it has continued even numbers, but it's not continuing that. So next it is printing finding odd numbers. Okay. So next it is executing this one. Only it just printed. Next, divisible 5 is 0. Okay, so after that, again see, if you see odd number is 1 and even number is 2, odd number is 3, even number 4, odd number 5, and in between divisible by 5 it's 5, and even number 6, and again odd number. So these three different threads are executing parallelly. So same time these threads are executing, like first thread here and second thread, first thread, second thread, third thread. So we have a functionality, right? So we want to display, we want to find the numbers between 0 to 20, so which are the even numbers and which are the odd numbers. So you can see here, so odd numbers 1 and even numbers 2 and something like that. So it is working. So all these functions are completed, and end of the day, if end of that script, if you see the execution time is 10 seconds. Okay, here if you see it is 30 seconds. Okay, so we save 20 seconds here, so using multi-threading. Okay, we are just printing. Instead of printing, you can take one list and you can append to that list also, like even numbers and odd numbers. Let's say I'll add uh, even nums equal to one list, nums list. I'm taking one empty list. So here, so if it is even number, you can append to the even numbers list. Similarly, If it is odd number, you can pen to the okay. We're repeating at last. Here you can print. I'm just printing the list. Okay, so now if you run, see, at last we are printing all. This is the even numbers, odd numbers, and divisible by numbers, and execution time is 10 seconds. Okay, if you see previously, the time was 30 seconds. Okay, because so it is executing it by like one by one. First it has to complete even numbers, so until that the next function has to wait. So after that odd numbers, after that divisible numbers. But using multi-threading, we are running at same time, so we are just creating a three threads, so each thread will run independently and simultaneously. So um, so once all threads complete, again we join to the main process, and we are giving that output to the main process. So if you print that, so we are printing all functions output like even numbers and odd numbers and divisible by numbers. Similarly, if you have in a production environment or in your real project, so if you have a huge, I mean if you have multiple tasks, if you want to complete those in within a less time, or if you want to run multiple tasks at the same time, then you can use like this threading concept. Okay, so this is how we can use threading in Python. So are you clear with this? Hello, Vishnuja. Okay, okay, fine. So if you're okay with the multi-threading, then we'll move to the network socket programming. Okay, so what is socket programming? So first So for before going to socket programming, so we need to understand few things in networking. So what is networking, and so how it will work in real life. So networking is nothing but it's a it's a collection of network elements, or a collection of laptops, or some mobiles, or any wireless devices, any network elements. Okay, so if you connect those elements in a network, so you can communicate between those elements. Let's say, so my laptop and your laptop in connected in a one network through Wi-Fi or through LAN or anything. So we can communicate. Like I can send some data to you, and you can send some data to me. So this will called as a one network. Okay. So now we are in a one public global network. See, you are in some other location, I am here. So we connected through internet. So that is one network. Okay, so we are communicating. So you're speaking with me, and I'm speaking with you. Even now we are able to send some data from my end to your end. Okay, so we are in one network now. So with this network in Python, so how we can communicate. So if I want to send some data to you, how can I send? So if I want to send some message to you, how can I send? So these things will see how we can do in Python. Okay, so in Python, for this we have a module called socket. So using this socket, we'll do it. So normally in this is socket is nothing but network element. So socket, it will create um, one it will establish one session between network elements. Like from my system to your system, it will create one socket connection. Socket connection is nothing but it will create one connection to establish to communicate with each other. Okay, so that will call it as a socket. Okay, so we have few parameters here for socket. See, sockets are the endpoints of bidirectional communication of a channel. It's like it will establish it will establish one channel or one communication for bidirectional. Like you can speak to me, and I can speak to you, and you can send some data, and I can send some data to you. So like this, for bidirectional, it will open one connection. So that will call it as a socket. So sockets may communicate within a process, between a process on the same machine or different machines. Okay, same machine or same processor, or bit different machines and different processors. Okay, so these sockets can be Unix domain sockets, and there will be like TCP or UDP connections. If you can read about TCP and UDP, and you can read about networking, then you will get more idea about sockets. Okay, so for the socket, first there should be a domain. So domain name is nothing but like so we should be within that domain. So we can pick domain here, and the type, the socket type we can mention. So these two are, and protocol, which protocol you're using. It's like TCP or UDP, anything. And host name. So host name is nothing but the server or the network element IP, the system IP. So from which machine to which machine you're sending, and the port. So for that connection, which port you're following. Okay, like for HTTP, there will be 80 port. So if you want to communicate through HTTP like web, 80 port. So similarly, if you want to communicate through SSH, that will be like 22 ports. So similarly, for one socket connection, will open one port. Okay, so now we'll see. So if I want to communicate, if I want to send some data from my system to your system in Python, how you will create a socket and how you will do. So that we'll discuss now. So for that, we have a module called socket in Python. Okay, so for socket, let's see. I can't send the data from my system to your system, because for that you have to run one application, and I need to run one application my end. So we need to communicate because you're in some other network, so I'm here. So instead of that, so what we can do is I'll create one client and server in the same my machine, and I'll show how those will communicate using the socket. Okay, so first we'll create one socket server. So we can create anything. So this will be like server. Okay, so first we have to import socket. So we'll see whether this module is there or not. So one thing, actually in threading class we missed a few things. So we have functions here. So get name, so this will return the name of the thread. Okay, so these are like optional functions. If you want, you can use. So we can is alive. Okay, using is alive you can check this thread status. Okay, we'll come back to the sockets. See, so we are starting three threads. So we want to get the status of the thread. So whether it's still running or failing or not. So if you want to verify that, you can use is alive. Okay, with the thread is alive or not. And so run same like a start only. We can run the thread. That's all. Okay. So get name and is alive. Join we used. Okay. So if you want to set the name of a thread, so you can use set name. These are optional. So mostly will you can use like this. You can initiate the thread and start and join. Okay. So now we'll come back to the socket. So we're just creating one server. So first we need to verify whether the socket is there or not. So import socket module, import socket. Okay, so socket will come with this is a built-in module. It will come with Python, so you know it install. So that will be there. So it is there. So I'm going to start one server now. For that we have the syntax. We have to open socket equal to, this is the object we can give, socket dot socket, and the family name, and socket type and protocol. So which protocol you want to use, so those things you can specify. So socket family is this will be either af underscore inet and af underscore unix. Okay, so these two are the socket family. This will be like unix platform, this is the inet, and there will be socket types. Okay, protocol you can specify, so which protocol you want. Okay, to create a socket we'll use that. So even without those also you can create a socket. So I'll create one socket, s equal to socket dot socket. So if you see here, just to give help of socket, you can see the functions here. Socket, create a new socket object. Okay, so socket, so we are importing the socket module, and inside socket is the method. So socket dot socket, I'm just creating one socket. Okay, so if I give dir of s now, see, these are the methods are available: accept and bind, close, connect, and all these things. So first we have to bind. Okay, bind. So we are opening one socket, and with that the socket we are telling that, so what is the host number and what is the port number. So which, in which port you are establishing a connection, in which port you are establishing a socket or connection between the other other client, so client to server or other system, you can say from one system to other system. So which port you are opening a socket, so that will open. So next we have to bind. So s dot bind of host name. So host name or the machine IP address we can give. So I'm just 0 dot 0 dot, okay, and IP address and port we have to specify. Okay, so bind port host name or port number. Host name port number 5 we have to give. Port I'm just specifying some 2000. Okay, that's it. For this port I'm just opening one socket connection. Okay, next. So we just open. Next we have to start the server. So start the server in the sense we are starting a server, or we are starting a system to reach we are just opening one connection, so that is available. So if anybody can send a message to the server, or they can send the data to the server. So for that we are just listening for requests. Okay, s dot listen. Okay, so s dot listen, and here you can specify some time like 5 or 10 seconds. Okay, we just open, just okay. So bind we have to give the pair, we have to give pair of both host name or IP address and port. So it will be like we have to form one tuple, and the tuple we have to give. Okay, so in listen and it close. Okay, but server should not close, so it has to wait for client connections. So we are running one infinity loop, true, while true. So for to receive Kyle's client's data, or uh, to listen something, so we have to accept. So for listen, it will start the TCP listener, or it will start the connection, it will start the server. So accept, it will accept the message, or it will accept the data, so whatever client sends. Okay, so for this method we have to give int s dot accept. Okay, so this will give this will return two values. So one is connection, and other one is the address, so from which we are getting. Okay, you can print that. See, we started a server here, so it will wait. So for that you can Okay, so starting server and waiting for client connection, so it will wait here only. Okay, so we just will finish this. So we are waiting for client connection. So if anybody joins this server, and will get response here. So if you want to send something, you can send with using that I'll do using send command. So if you want to close, you can close here. Okay, so dial of accept. Okay, so if you want to see that, we are already running the. You can ignore this. Okay, so this is server. So similarly, we'll write for client socket client.py. Okay, so same thing we have to give. We have to import socket module, and so from client side we have to start. We have to connect to the server. So for that we have to give s dot connect of. So connect is one module in the s. So using this, so connect is one method. So connect of we can give the server IP address or server host name, and this will be double server host name. So server host name is server host name or server IP address you can give. So I'm using both client and server in the same machine, so that is the reason I'm giving same IP for both. So if you're running in different machine, so you can give the server IP here. So and the port we can specify the same port. Okay, so I'm just connecting to the this server. and the next one. So we are just connecting. So here also s dot receive receive. So first we are just connecting to the server and we are waiting for server message. Okay, so we can give some. So how much data you want to receive? S dot, and after that s dot close you can give. So this will close the connection. Okay, so if we run this now, we didn't close this. So I'm running client here, Python client. Okay, so starting client and connecting to the server, and it is showing connection refused. So why it is showing connection refused? Because there is no server, so we didn't start the server. Okay, so start a server. So I just started, and if I start client here, so starting to the client and connecting to the server, and it connected. We see here, see, so we got one print statement here, socket object at this particular memory location, and those details. Okay, so okay, so Vishisha, can you hold for 2 minutes? Okay. Mm, so I don't know. Yeah. So we can see the print whatever we printing here. So we're just starting the server here and we're accepting client request, we're waiting and we're printing that. So the moment you started client here, so it is printing. See, it is printing. So one tuple here. Okay, so this is the connection. This is the socket connection between the socket object, and these are the details of the client, so which is connecting. So client is connecting from this IP address, so client also same IP address, and from client port, so this is the client port. So now we have to change, so we can receive that connection, comma, those details, client you can say. Okay, and client you can give client details. Okay, we are starting server investing a client, sorry. So connected with client and same it's printing, and server is waiting response from the client because we didn't send anything. So now you can send some data to the client. So connection, so the connection is for that client connection dot send off some message. You can send hi. Okay, and so if you want to close, we can close. I'm not closing. So in the client, so we are receiving, so we are not we are receiving here, so we are just printing that. So now we'll close, and again we'll start the server. That's already in use. Okay, started. See, starting the client and connected to the server, and we sent once the moment you receive a connection from client, so we're sending hi. So if you see the client here, we're sending hi. Okay, so similarly you can run this in while true, print, we're just printing whatever is sent, and yes dot send, same send. We are also sending hi. so here we can receive same like connection dot recv of some size 1024 or something. Okay, client message. We can print that client message, and if that message is something like by break, we are coming out of the loop and we are closing. Okay, so if client sends by, so we are verifying, we are getting the, we are receiving the data, and we are verifying that if it is a buy and connection close. Okay, so if you see in the client, so we are receiving and sending hi. Okay, so I'm killing the function. Okay, I started server, and here I started client. See, client starting, and so we got the response high. If you see server, so we got buy. Okay, so if we say buy, you can send c dot dot connection dot send thank you. Typo error, send. See, connected with client, and we got buy and close. Okay, but still we send before closing we send thank you to the client, but here we didn't receive that. Okay, so this is how we can communicate. Now what I'll make is, so I'll make some uh, I'll make they can communicate runtime. So here we are just hard coding, right? So instead of hard code, they can communicate runtime. So if they type buy, and if they send buy to the server, so server has to execute, server has to exit. Okay, so for that, so while true, we're just making a infinity loop. You can print server response. So let's say response equal to response equal to by and mm, message equal to input of okay. Now s dot send of message. So we are sending message. So I'm just getting from a user. So user has to type that. So the whatever he types, I'm sending. So this will run like infinity. So again it will go here, and again it will get the response from server. So if the server sends by, then we have to exit. So until that this will continue. Okay. So if you see here, we are just accepting connection, and we are sending hi, and so once and again we are receiving. So if the client message is by, we are closing this. Okay, so until that this will be run. See, waiting for connection. So I'm starting client here, message to the server, connected with client. So we're just sending message like hi, hi, it print, and again it is waiting for client connection. Not hi, and Okay, we start our server and we start our client. Starter client and starter server. So, so we got a connection from this client, and so we are sending a message hi, and we got a message, and we can send a message to the client hi. Closed. Socket is not connected. Okay. So we didn't close properly, so that is the reason we are seeing this error actually. So address already in use, so that is the socket is already there, so it has to clear. So for that we have to wait for some time. Okay, I started server. Now started client. So we can say connection is established with the client, and I'm just sending hi. We got a hi, and we can reply hi. So server has sent hi, and again we can send some name. We sent how are you, and we can reply I'm fine. We got I'm fine, and you can say something. And finally, if we say bye, okay. So we sent bye to server, and server got bye, and he also said bye to here. You can say this. We got thank you. Thank you. So by the time server is closed, okay. So here, so if you receive bye from client, so we have to send thank you. Uh, we send thank you, and we are not verifying uh, for client response. We are closing, okay. But here we are sending thank you and closing, okay. So you can comment this. So execute now, okay. Hi, Hello. Okay, if I say bye, you say bye. Sorry, we are verifying bye, but when client says bye, instead of thank you, we have to send to bye. So for client, we started with this port. Okay, so if you see when you close the client, so it's closing. So now we can still it is there. Why? Because there is one process. So this also has to close. Okay, started. See, I sent by and he sent immediately. He replied by and we close. Okay, see we got by and we sent by and close. Okay, so like that we can implement. Let's say so server is you and client is mine. So so we are just connecting each other. I'm sending message hi and you are replying immediately. So once I say bye and you're saying bye and you're closing the session. So like that. So since I'm using the same machine, both client and server, so I'm using the same IP. If the machine is in different machine, so you can give the machine IP address here. Okay, so you can give the machine IP address and the port. You can specify both. So that is how we can communicate. So first we have to establish a connection. For that we have to start in server. Next we have to accept client session from the client. So we have to use that. So next we can receive the data and we can send it. So based on your requirement, so you can use like this, however you want. So first I'm receiving the data and I'm sending. Okay, so that I'm accepting from user. So in client also same, we are receiving the data from server and we are sending the data to the server, and if both are saying bye we are closing both sessions. Okay, so it's a kind of chat messenger. Okay, so similarly you can implement your own way. Okay, so in this we have few more functions like receive, send, receive from. So this will be like udp so both are receive and send. This will be like tcp message. If you want to send a udp message, you can use receive from and send to. Finally we can close. Okay, so if you see here we have one special method like socket dot get host name. So if you want to identify the host name of the current machine, you can use this socket dot get host name. So let's say dot get host name. See, this is my host name. So you can see the host name here. Okay. See, this is my host name. Messi. Okay. The same thing we are getting from here. So similarly, so if you want to do any network level things, so you can do using socket. Okay. So that is how we can do. So are you clear with socket? Okay. So then we have so next topic. So next topic is lambda functions. So what are lambda functions? Let's see. Let's say instead of writing one function, so we can write one anonymous functions like for if you want to find some for some or if you want to do some expression, if you want to add some string to the some other string, or if you want to do some multiple operation multiple operations, if you want to do like subtraction, addition, and those arithmetic operations and all. So for anonymously we can write a small function, so that will called as a lambda functions. Okay, so I'll show you how to write a lambda function. Like it's a sum equal to, so we'll define the syntax is lamb lambda of x x comma y written x plus y. Okay, so you can define like this. So lambda of x comma y, the result is x plus y. So for sums we have to pass 10 comma 20, so the result it will come like this. Okay. Okay, so the syntax will be like this. You can give any variable name equal to and lambda, and the arguments you can specify, and colon the functionality whatever you want. Okay, so like that you can do. So this is for anonymous. For simplification of any function you can write like this. So if you want to do function, how you will write? Def sum x comma y, and so inside that return or return x plus y. So this is how you will write. So if you use some, so this will return. Okay, so instead of that, this is a two-line code. Instead of that, you can write in a single line, and this will be like simply this is like simplifying the function for definition. Okay, so for that we'll use lambda. Okay, so if you want, you can do power of x power y. You can do sum of some 2 power 5 if you want to find 2 comma 5, 2 power 5 32. So you can do any arithmetic or anything. So let's say I'm going to write one string operation. Okay, so x comma y, and similarly x plus space test y. Okay, so sum we have to specify two strings. We have to specify two strings. So one is comma. Okay, so hi test. Okay, okay, so like this you can write so you can minimize the function, you can minimize the function and you can write in a single line. So for that we'll use lambda functions. Okay, so similarly I'll give you one more example. If you want to identify whether the number is even or not, we can give uh, lambda x if x percentile 2 equal to 0. Sum of 10 true. We can give like this, 11 false. Okay, this will verify like this, will take the argument and it will check this condition. Okay, you have to write like that. So this is a lambda function. Similarly we have one more thing, map. So what this map will do, so we can apply this map this lambda function in particular list. So let's say so this is a one function. So identify uh, identify even numbers from the list. So I have one list, let's say L equal to range of 20. Okay, if I print L, so I have this range. So within this range, so I want to apply for all this, so I want to apply one lambda function. Okay, for that we'll use map of uh, and write map of lambda x, like x into x comma L. Okay, so this particular lambda function, it will apply to the list. So from the list it will send all elements. So this will be like for I in L, so lambda. So like how it will be now, for I in L, uh, sum of, so sum of I, like this. Okay, so let's say if I write a lambda function sum equal to lambda of x into x, that means x into x, multiple sum of 2 into 2 4, like this. Now if I do for I in L sum of I, so what will print for 0 0 1 1, like that, 361, for 19 19 into 19, squares of all numbers. So instead of writing this much code, we can write in a single line using map. We can write, so map lambda function, you can write lambda of the function, you can write x star x. Okay, so now I want to find out even numbers. So same I'll do x percentile 2 equal to 0. Okay, true or false. So it will check true, false, true or false. So this number is true, this number is false, true, false, true, false, like that it will display. Okay, so if you want to apply any expression on the on all elements in the list, so you can use map. For single line you can apply. So let's say if you want to find, if you want to find x plus 100, okay, adding 100 to the all elements, that will be like this. Okay, so for that we'll use map. So similarly we have one more filter. So for filter, so we can apply one condition to the, we can apply condition to the list. So if you want to find out even numbers, x percentile 2 equal to 0. Okay, same thing, filter. See, it will apply the particular condition in the all elements. So like it will get so if you print L, these are the elements, right? So it will applicable to the all elements. For first 0 0 percentage do is 0, then it will take 0. Next one it won't, false, then it will be 2. So next one it is a true, 4, it will print. So which are applicable to this particular condition, which are the things satisfy that particular condition, it will consider those things. So it's kind of a filter. You can filter the list of elements, so based on some expression, some condition. So if you want to find out divisible by 5, 5. Okay, so like that you can get it. So these three things will be so mostly we'll use lambda, and similarly for map filter also, if you have any such cases you can use it. So instead of writing 3 4 lines code in for loop or something, you can write in a single line. Okay, so that is how we can use map and lambda and filter. So lambda is the main uses of lambda is you can simplify the function and you can write in a single line statement. And for mostly for arithmetic expressions or any string concatenations and any things, we'll use lambda. Okay, so for map if you for lambda expression, any so any lambda expression or anything, if you want to apply for all elements in the list, and you can use map. So you can write a lambda function here and you can give the list, so that will applicable to the all elements, so that will give the list. Okay, so filter, you can based on the particular condition or expression, you can filter the list of elements. Okay, so let's say if you want to find out even numbers or odd numbers, you can write a lambda condition here and you can give the list, so that will check the condition. If the condition satisfies, that element will print. Okay, so like this we can use these three things. Okay, so are you clear with this?